Right, we're going to kick off with some good news. There's not a lot of good news about, but this is pleasing to see. And also, the first two stories about New York. Our show's fairly critical of New York and some of the occupants in it. But it's nice to see the New York people coming together. And on Friday evening, bus drivers in New York and members of TWU Local 100 refused to cooperate with police in transporting arrested justice for George Floyd protesters. And the action comes a day after bus drivers in Minneapolis also refused to assist the police in transporting arrested protesters, shutting down the Twin Cities transit system. And the vice president of the TWU Local 100 said, "I told MTA our ops won't be used to drive cops around, and it is in solidarity with Minneapolis bus drivers." That pleases me no end. That's how you fight back. Just don't engage them. We'll have more on that soon. But it's finally a bit of courage, one hopes, out of all things, that can go viral. That courage is at the forefront. They cannot handle a united peoples. And it's they who should have fear, not us. Another short piece from New York is New York State Farms. Big thank you to them. They have donated £34,000 plus of milk, beef and produce to families in need in New York. Members of the community loaded up their cars, trucks, vans and in one case even a U-Haul to bring groceries to a Minneapolis neighborhood after riots destroyed stores and shops in the area. Sanford Middle School became a collection site on Sunday for groceries for families living in the area of the 3rd Precinct. And the police station was at the centre of heated protest that turned into riots on Wednesday and Thursday. Stores in the area, particularly Target, were hit by looters and people looking to cause trouble. And Sunday a call was put out and asked residents to bring food and other supplies for families who are left without a place to shop nearby. On top of that, many have no transportation, with Metro Transit shut down due to the riots, and videos shared online shows bag after bag of groceries lining the sidewalk around the middle school. That's fantastic. That's what we want to see. More of that. People coming together. I know there's a lot of people going apart. Maybe that's the way it's meant to be. People find their own level. But what we are also seeing, and should not be downplayed because of the levels of bot-like behaviour, is there's a lot of people who are coming together. Now, commonly, people come together in times of crisis, war or disaster. And that's all very well. But we should come together outside of war, disaster and crisis also. And one hopes that this event that's playing out will change a lot of people going forward. Thousands of people in Spain are protesting against the government's handling of the coronavirus outbreak. The far-right Vox party urged supporters to drive through major cities without leaving their vehicles in order to maintain social distancing. And protesters in the capital, Madrid, drove in convoy and waved Spanish flags as they called for the socialist Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez to resign. Now, Spain imposed some of the tightest restrictions in Europe on the 14th of March, and it has eased restrictions in recent weeks, but Madrid and Barcelona have remained under tight lockdown due to their more severe outbreaks of the COVID-19. This needs to be addressed, and it has to be said. And it's part of the problem that we're all facing. And all cops and government officials have to become accountable going forward. And it's up to us to make them accountable. Not their closed shop, just us system. And what we've seen over the past week or so is cops have been shown to be agent provocateurs, spraying people, running them over with cars and horses, and even more sinister acts of placing bricks in protest zones and smashing windows to provoke the rioting and looting. You've all seen it. And whilst it's not all cops, and I appreciate that, the ones in it need to stand up now and speak out. I warned of this a few months ago. A silent cop is as much of the problem as a bad one. But we the people also have to show them a better way. No violence, please. Use your anger to get clever. Think of non-violent ways to disrupt their organisations. And people are people. Do not differentiate by colour or gender, as both will be rolled out again now by the establishment to social distance themselves from the coronavirus and the fake lockdown. I wrote that last week. It's already happened. And I called for the social distancing of 6 to 10 feet to stay away from cops and government officials until they change the whole corrupt system. Social distance from polling booths, and tell them we don't want their method of governing either. You know? It's one way that's non-violent, where the people send their non-compliance with people who are protecting the system. But if cops want to come and talk to you, ask them to move 10 feet away. You know, some people in the group didn't like the next part. And it's the old failure of shoot the messenger instead of facing the problem. The violence of the police has become a major problem in several countries, not just America. And they treat people with complete disregard, ignore their constitutions and their rights, and they, the police, are enforcing illegal laws against we the people. So next time you get shot with a rubber bullet, run over with a car or a horse, don't come crying to me. Come with solutions, not critiques. Social distancing is not constitutionally legal. So let's reverse it back on them. Let them know we don't appreciate or want them near us until they learn we the people are not the enemy here. We never have been. Until they learn to speak to people, not at them. Until they learn to come in peace and not with weapons threatening and pointing at us. Till they stop going undercover and creating violence and disturbances. Until they learn to deal with the criminals within their own ranks and high society. Until they learn enforcing a wrong order is not the right thing to do. Social distance all police at 10 feet and tell them we don't want them near us. Forget colours, genders and nationalities. We are people, not labels. And until cops stop treating us as their personal anger management course, hiding behind bushes to collect motoring fines for the establishment, threatening and bullying people, intimidating people because they have a badge and treating us like pariahs. Let's turn the tables back on them and make them pariahs in our own community and see how they like it. It's a simple solution and it's the best way to fight back. It requires no violence and does not require you to have nasty exchanges or trade verbals with them either. Just social distance them. Then you are giving them the clear and defined choice of We the People. Come and support We the People, as I have seen many of them have, and I'm pleased with that, or continue to support the establishment and social distance them. Another group I'm social distancing is, and this comes with a clear warning, is the mask wearers. Your children and grandchildren will look back at you all and revel in your own stupidity. Viruses and bacteria thrive in warm and wet conditions, like mold in your bathroom, as an example. Plus, you are refilling your lungs with carbon dioxide, and a lot of you are going to have long-term health issues going forward. The tighter the mask, the worse your conditions. And so I'm social distancing all carbon dioxide breathers as protection of my health and away from their bot-like stupidity, because that's what it is. And yes, I know some are forced to wear it, and I get that. But people have to stand up and fight back. So here is another THI prediction we will watch to see unfold. There will be a mass of sickness within your own communities by the regular mask wearers in the coming weeks and months, and then we have a potential of a real epidemic. The added concern to do with the masks, and has not been covered by social media, is they all came from the East. And given they have been battling the West for the past decade, and where the virus originated, not to mention the ongoing trade war and the barbs flying back and forth, just how safe are those masks to begin with? Given where they came from, courtesy of Kushner, who's still operating inside the government, and FEMA, who should have been shut down when the trust gave Trump an alternative 20 months ago.